Hi everyone, today I will show you how to do the basic configuration of BGP. Here in the scenario, we have four autonomous systems that is divided to S100 to S400. The task is very simple. We need to be able to communicate to different AS. For example, from AS100, we need to be able to communicate from different IS to 200, 300, and 400. So let's start with the configurations. Here, to do the simulation, I'm using EVNG. For this one, I need to configure or I will configure the host name. For this one, I will set R1 as the host name. There will be three interfaces that I need to configure. So let's start with Ethernet 0/0. I will add the IP address 10.10, that's 1/24 as the point-to-point connectivity for R11 or AS200. So in order to configure, I need to add the IP address 10.10.10.1, 2.5, 2.5.0 as a subnet mask. And I need to enable the interface. To enable the interface, I need to type in no shut. Next is the Ethernet or E0/1. That's the direct connectivity for AS300. So for this one, I need to add the IP address 20.20.20.1/24. Of course, we need to add no shut for the configuration to be able to enable the interface. For the LAN connectivity, we will assign the 192.168.1.0/24. So the interface is E0/2. So it's basically the same configuration. We just need to add the IP address, click type no shut to enable the interface. Here it is for the router BGP configuration. So router BGP 100 to advertise the network, we need to type network 192.168.1.0. So the IS to the other AS number or autonomous systems, they will be able to see the 1.0 subnet since we have advertised it to the BGP. To enable the peering, we need to add the neighbor. The neighbor is the direct connectivity for the router. Here in the example, we need to add the neighbor 10.10.10.2 remote AS200 since 200 is the autonomous system of 10.2. Here in the configuration, I type in do show IPBGP summary to check. Here in the scenario, I'm just configuring the virtual PC that is connected to E0/2. So I will ping the gateway to confirm the connectivity. So for the next configuration, so the other side will be AS200. So I just need to enable the interface, configured, then type in the host name and type the R2 as the host name of the router. So let's start with the configuration with Ethernet E0/0. Then we will add an IP address that's .2 or 10.10.2/24. Index is 0/1. That is our direct connectivity for AS400. So the IP is 30.30.30.2. slash 24, but in the diagram I just add slash 30. For the LAN configuration, I will add E0 slash 2. The IP address is 2.0 or 192.168.2.2.254 as the gateway of the LAN BPC. Then let's go ahead and configure BGP. Uh, the autonomous system for this one is 200, so we need to configure or advertise the network. That's the 2.0. So the neighbor will be 10.1 and the remote AS is 100. For the other neighbor, it's 30.1 and the AS number is 400. As you can see, the neighbor is currently apt right now since we both configure the neighbor for each router. Here we will configure the BPC or virtual PC. You just need to assign an IP address. In our example, we assigned 192.168.2.1/24 and the gateway is 2.254. Of course, we need to test the configuration. We need to test the connectivity from the PC going to the gateway. As you can see, when we type do show IPBGP summary, the 10.10.1 neighbor is currently up right now, since we already done with the configuration. To save the configuration, we need to do or type do WR or do write. The next configuration is the AS300. So the host name will be R3. So we will need to configure the Ethernet. We will start with E0/0. So let's type the IP address. Here in the example, it's 20.2/24. And we need to enable the interface by typing no shut. The next interface is E0/1. So we need also to configure the IP address. That would be 40.2/24. For the LAN connectivity or LAN, we need to configure E0/2. The interface is 192.168.3. The IP address is 192.168.3.254 as the gateway of the VPC or virtual PC. Let's go ahead and configure the router BGP or the VGP configuration. So the network that we need to advertise is 192.168.3.0. The neighbor is 2020.1. The remote AS is 100. The other neighbor is 4040.1/24 and the remote AS is 200. It's 400. As you can see, the neighbor 2020.1 is currently up right now since both configuration for the router is already done. So when we test that earlier, we will be able to communicate with 192.168.3 and 192.168.1.0's network. Here I'm typing the IP address for the BVC. That's 3.1 and the gateway is 3.254. And also we need to test the connectivity from the BPC going to the gateway. So let's go ahead and go to the AS400. So for the host name of this router, I will just assign R4. So just need to enable, configure the host name, and set it to R4. For the interface Ethernet 0/0, we just need to add the IP address 30.1 as the point-to-point connectivity for AS200. Okay, we just need to enable interface by typing no shit or bringing up the interface. We just need also to configure the Ethernet E0/1. That will be our direct connectivity with the AS100. So the IP should be 40.1. Or later on, I will just edit the IP address. For the LAN connectivity or the LAN part, I just need to configure Ethernet E0/2. I will type in the gateway for the VPC, that's 4.254. And for the BGP configuration, we need to advertise the 4.0 network. And the neighbor will be 30.2 and 40.2. So for 40.2, the AS number is 300. For 30.2 is AS number is 200. So as you can see here, only the 30.tx connectivity from AS200 and AS400 is up because the configuration for AS400 and 300 is not right. So later on, I will just modify the configuration for the AS300. Okay, so let's try to ping the gateway. That's 4.254. As you can see, the 40 or AS300 going to AS400 is not it's not working right now because the configuration is not right. So basically the issue here is I type in that 254 for the 40.40.40.x subnet. So I just need to modify it by changing the IP address. I need to remove it later. So I use the Ethernet, Ether-1. So I need to remove it. We need to add the subnet mask so we are able to delete the configuration. So I will now type the correct IP address. So that will be Okay, as you can see, the 40.x subnet is currently up right now. So for this configuration, we can now test the connectivity from AS100 to 400, 300, and 200. Here just verifying if all the connectivity from BGP is currently up right now. Okay, right now I will test the connectivity to the other AS site. So as you can see, I can ping the 3.1 subnet, that's AS300. From AS200, I can now ping the AS300 subnet. And also the 4.1 subnet from AS400, we are now able to communicate with this IP. Basically, that's it. Um, Thank you.